And but if you want to know the details of my arguments, it's in the proceedings. And in that paper, I talk about the politics of AI, which are related to open source. And so what I'm going to talk today about is really the politics of AI, and perhaps a little more prosaic way than Hugo did. I think, along with several of the other speakers, that AI will develop pretty slowly. I mean, it's a very hard technical problems, and very hard technical problems tend to develop kind of slowly. And so I think that the politics of AI is inevitable. There isn't much politics right now. Most politicians, I mean, none of the people running for president talk about AI. They'd probably be afraid of people thinking they're kooks or stirring up all kinds of religious opposition. But I think that there will be strong politics of AI before we have real AI. For one thing, subhuman level AI will take jobs. I mean, we already have robots in factories and stuff. And a lot of jobs that people do don't require the full level of human intelligence, and require considerably less than it. And robots will, or some sort of machinery will be able to take a lot of those jobs. And so there'll be politics from that, and the related issue of the growing income inequality. We have income inequality that's a big political issue in the current presidential round, and I think is going to be a growing issue in the future. And people are going to make the connection between that and intelligent machines or subhuman level AI. There's privacy concerns. I mean, there's a lot of concerns about what Google is doing. Google knows me better than my wife knows me, you know. And you know, and Google certainly. I mean, Moshe is an example of Google's interest in AI, and I'm sure that they're even more interested in that. Military AI. There was an interesting article in the New York Times in 2005. The title was, "Who do you trust, G.I. Joe or A.I. Joe?" So that was getting at the kind of military ethics that we heard about the other day. But the fact that it was in the New York Times.
You gotta have a G.I. Joe. Huh?
Yeah, right. A.G.I. Joe. Yeah, that's the one to watch out for. Right. And financial market instability. I mean, after the 1987 crash, there was considerable, became somewhat of a political issue about program trading. And you know, I think that as we work towards a singularity with increasing intelligent machines, we can continue to see wilder and wilder things happening in financial markets. And so all of these things, I think, are going to make AI into a political issue. Now, the real purpose of changing my topic, I knew that there was going to be at least three, there's at least 3 directors of the Singularity Institute here, maybe even more. I don't have a list written down. Maybe there's even a few other ones. And so I thought that I would make a suggestion to them, a pitch. And pardon me, any of you directors, if I've mischaracterized your positions. Eliezer, you've been pretty clear, I think, that you don't think much of the role of politicians meddling in the question of AI.
There's, you know, a little bit of that in the run-up, but ultimately the difference between politics and technology is that technological questions are solvable. Yeah.
And Kurzweil, his book is nice, but he's pretty dismissive of the role of politicians in artificial intelligence. He says, one thing he says is, well, you can't really control it because the AI will figure out how to outsmart the control. And the other thing he says is, well, humans will become the AIs, and we don't have to worry about them because they'll have human values. They'll be our values, you know. And so, of course, history shows us that sometimes the values of some humans don't work out so well for other humans. And there's been some statements by other Singularity Institute directors about politics. Now, if you look on the website, you talk to some people with the Singularity Institute, it's like, well, the Singularity Institute does not take a position on politics. It's sort of mute on it. But given that there's all this stuff from various directors, and I think even you, Ben, have suggested a certain reluctance to see government involved in AI questions and defining ethics. Am I wrong about that?
A reluctance would be fair. I would say not a vehement, hostile, and unconditional opposition, right. But I don't have that much faith in our current administration.
Yeah, shocking. So, so I think that to say that there's no position, given the position of so many of directors, I think to say that there's no position is a little disingenuous, because there's a position of all these directors. Now, but the reason I'm making this pitch is a certain degree of admiration for the Singularity Institute, because the Singularity Institute is really the group that's out there talking about the singularity, and through the summits, I understand the last summit had 1,000 people or something.
Thereabouts. It's actually less than the last one, which was held in a larger auditorium.
Okay.
This time we ran up against the limits of the auditorium.
Get a bigger room, huh? So
next time, that's the plan.
Yeah. So and some things, so there's going to be this politics of AI. It's going to happen, I think, sometime in the 21st century. There's going to be this politics of AI, and then the public is going to get interested, and they're going to look around, and they're going to look at what people say, and if they see somebody that says, "Don't worry about politics. You body politic. Don't worry your pretty little head about it. We will just do it, and we know how to do it," and that's not going to be a real good. When the politics come, you really don't want that to be how you appear to the politicians. You really don't want that to be written on your tombstone, So I think that the Singularity Institute would be wise to get out in front on this a little bit, to be a little proactive, because politicians are going to put their nose into this. It's going to happen.
They already have.
Yes. Right. Yeah, that's right. There have been hearings.
And that's not what I told the last politician who the last congressperson who asked me for advice. That's not what I didn't tell him, get your nose out of our business.
Okay, well, that's good. I'm good. I'm glad. I'm happy to hear that, because that's I think that's where you guys, where you should be going. You should be engaging with the political process, and engaging with the public. I had a discussion the other day with somebody from a republic of the Soviet Union who was pretty pessimistic about all this, about the ability of the public to have an effect. But on the other hand, we have seen in Western countries the public having a beneficial effect on politics, the consumer and environmental movements, weapon control movements. These things haven't worked out perfectly, that we have our ups and downs. But the fact that you have Ralph Nader there, a lot of good gets done. And I think I would like to see the Singularity Institute, since you're the guys that are in a position to take this role, to take it and to really become actively, become a lobby almost. Among your other hats, and that's pretty much what I had to say.